how's my hair look?
You're on, ladies.
Oh, we're on?
Yes? Okay. All righty. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Council Connections. I'm Ginny Esser, and I'm here today with Ginny Cannon. You've got the two Ginnies, the other Ginny. And we're delighted to be with you. I'm particularly excited because I am the liaison person to the library. And Ginny is the chairman of the library committee and graciously going to be here with us today to give us some background on the library, on what the committee does, and quite frankly, how lucky we all are to have her and her committee to, quite frankly, have, I think, the gem, one of the gems of Woodland Pond in the library, and how fortunate we all are. So Ginny, it's delightful to have you here.
Thank you, Jenny. I'm very happy to be here, and I'm looking around and I see 5 members of my committee and 2 fairly new members. And I'm very happy the new members are here because it's going to give them some background that maybe they have missed. So I would like to just run down the people that are, I'm not going to run them down. I'm going to name the people in my committee. Some of them come to regular monthly meetings that we're not Zooming, we should be. I send out a monthly letter, and some of them don't come to the meetings and some of them do. Some of them do jobs behind the scenes, and some are more active. Some of my committee members are librarians, real librarians. And some of the committee members, like myself, are not librarians, but are interested in books and people reading, and for me, organization. I love organization. So that's, I guess, how I got involved. So my committee members are Paul Bateman, Lynn Clark, Alice Cross, Joyce Gartrell, Mary Gelhaus, Ann Gordon, Larry Rando, Pernima Schnitzer, and Joyce Schiff, and Lucy Muller. And I just owe them all so much. This, and all of you readers do too, because this library wouldn't work without the hard work of the committee. I'm going to brag a little bit, but I really think this is, if not the hardest working committee, one of the hardest working committees.
I believe it.
Yes. Do you want me to talk a little bit about how it got started?
I would love you to do that, yes.
All right. Going back through the old notes, I believe it was the first ones I found was 2009, and Faye Bishop and Pat Welch, retired librarians, were responsible for putting this wonderful library together in the very beginning. And looking in the notes, what a job they had. There was not enough shelf space. There were boxes and boxes of books that they had to go through and categorize and put on the shelves. And that just leads me to saying something about, where do our books come from? And our books come from residents. We would not have a library if it were not for the thoughtfulness of the residents that give us books. Some of the books are books they've had in their library and they're just cutting it back. Some are books that they read last week and don't want to keep. So that's how we get our books. So thank you, residents, and keep bringing us the books. And while I'm there, I'd just like to say a word about how you can donate your books. And this, I have to say, is kind of an ongoing problem for us. And when I say us, I mean the committee. We have a donation box in the library underneath the table. Right after you come in, it's, let's see, my left and my right. I'm a little bad with directions, but it's to the left. It's a table where people sign out their books and return books. Underneath the table, there's a basket or a bin where you can put your books that you want to donate in that basket, and we really appreciate doing that. Now, some of the problems we have, people take their books and they think, oh, I'll just put it on the giveaway cart out in the hall. Don't do that, because when I go through that giveaway cart almost daily, I find interesting books that should be on our shelves for the readers to have. Other people just come and drop. We had one the other day, a big box of books. They just drop them off in front of the table or maybe anywhere in the library. What we prefer you to do, you must do, give somebody a call that's on the committee. I'm on the committee. You can always call me. Or if you go inside the library above the table, there's a list of our members who do shelving with their telephone numbers. So if you're not sure who's on the committee, just look at that list and give them a call that you have books to donate. And then those people will contact me, and I will contact another library committee person, and we always go in twos, because what I might think is a great book to have on our shelves, the person with me might think, why would we want that? So, and then we compromise. So please, don't just drop books off. That way, if we know, we can go through them, we can determine if they're books that, and we pretty much know what books our readers read. And while in there, I'll tell you what they are, if you don't already know. Fiction and mystery and biography. We have a lot more categories, but those are the three most important categories. So after we go through the books that are donated, one of our members puts all the information in the database. And we do have a database of the books that we have in the library. And hopefully our clientele, the residents, can use the database, should use the database to check to see if a book is there that they really want to read. They can look by author or by title. And if you just walk down the aisles and scan the shelves, the book you want, we might have, but it might be out. And if you go to the database, then you can find out if we have the book or not. It's an ongoing job. I really thank those members. Right now, it's Joyce Gartrell and Larry are putting things into the database. Anne knows how to take things out of the database, which we do when we weed a book.
I'm going to ask you a question. I think I know the answer. How much time do you have to put all of you into this job?
It's a lot.
I bet.
Sometimes, some days I come back to my apartment and I think, why am I not getting paid to do this? There's someone in the library, not all the time, because remember, we really are not paid, but a committee member is in the library every day, checking to see what's returned, checking it off. We do keep track of how many times a book goes out. and then shelving them, straightening up the library. If you're one of those people that are adding or removing from the database, it's a big job. I can't tell you exactly hour-wise, but I would again say that the members of this committee spend more time working on their committee than most committee members do. I just want to give all of my committee members a pat on the back.
I'm not surprised. The library shows it and we know it.
Thank
So
you.
that's super job. Obviously, that's one of the hardest parts of the job. What's the easiest part of the job? I have a tendency to think the kind of love that you people all have and respect for it has a great deal to do with the easiest part of it.
Well, I think part of that is because we all love books. And I think the other part of it is the feedback that we get from the residents, particularly during this time of COVID, and how thoughtful and thankful they are, that the residents are, that we have remained open and that the books are there to help pass away those hours when, particularly when we were on quarantine or pause. So that's the good part, the feedback that we get. And also for me, it's handling books and looking at books and thinking, oh, maybe someday I'll have a chance to read this book. Who knows?
Right. Goals for this year.
Oh, goals. This is an ongoing project. We started, I guess, last year. We don't have enough shelf space, and there is no more place for shelves. So we constantly weed. And before I go on with the goal, I would like to talk a little bit about weeding, because we get comments from the residents. Why are you putting this book out here on the giveaway? It's such a good book. People should be reading it. Well, we keep track. We have a little check-off system in the back. You know, we're not a regular library. We don't have all the wonderful things that a regular library would have, but we keep track by checks in the back of the book. And the year, we're in 2001. No, we're 2021 now. And so in the back of the book, we write 2021. And when that book comes back in, and before we shelve it, we make a check. And we have a policy on how long a book can stay on the shelves and how many checks before it's what we call weeded. I guess that's a library term. At least it's one I've learned since I started working here at this library. So if it doesn't have the appropriate number of checks, it's been sitting on the shelf, taking up space. We take it out of the database and we put it on the giveaway cart. Now, the giveaway cart will also have books that we have determined will not go out of the library. Maybe it's too heavy. You know, we're an elderly clientele. Maybe the print is too small. So we put that out on the giveaway cart. I'm going to go on a little more before I get to our goals. I'm going to talk a little more about weeding. In the past, before COVID, the books that we did not want, we gave to the local libraries for their book sales. Well, COVID came and there were no book sales, and our cage down in the basement was overflowing. So one of our committee members did a little research and discovered the place where we could send books. It's called Worldwide Books. And we have a contract with them for a year to send them a certain number of books. And what Worldwide Books does, it was started by two college kids, interestingly enough, that wanted to get textbooks at a cheap price. So, and it's grown tremendously. So these books are sold or given away. And the monies go to fund and help uh, libraries and places where there would not be an opportunity to get books. A lot of them go overseas. Um, so it's a fundraiser, and it also gives away books. So we send books to Worldwide Books, and Anne, I see you giving me the signal. Do you want to add something? Thank you, Anne. Anne was the person that was very responsible. It costs us nothing. As there is no cost, they send us a carton, a bundle, a bale of books. And then we pack them up according to their specifications. They send us the postage. We put that on, and then UPS comes and picks them up. And we have to have 14 boxes at a time. So far, we've sent out 21, and we are working probably on, we've got 10 packed now, and I would guess we have enough to, no, we have 4 packed now, and I guess we'd have enough to get the 14 soon. I hope I've covered that fairly well. Now, our goal, at last, our goal. We're really thinking about reorganizing the library. And we're in the process of doing a survey to get some feedback from our readers. We're working on that right now. And when we get it done, and we get permission, we'll be sending it out. There's a lot of categories in our library that people never touch. A while back, we got rid of gardening and cookbooks because they just were not going out. And a lot of that information is found on the internet. So we got rid of those sections, freeing up more room. We have other sections, and I'm not going to mention them right now because, first of all, I'm not sure what they are. And secondly, we want to get the results of this survey before we decide. So I think readers, you're going to see some changes in the library as far as what books are on the shelves. We're really trying to look at the reading needs of our population. And I know I have to throw this in right now because Dave mentioned it to me earlier. The library is now organized. You might notice in most of the shelving, there are no books on the bottom shelves. And we discovered those books just were not going out. And the reason they were not going out, none of us can get down there to look at those books. Or if we get down there, we can't get back up again. So what we did was we just eliminated those bottom shelves.
Super.
Any other questions?
Well, obviously, you've accomplished a lot. We can see it. We see it all the time, and we certainly see the way you keep it so organized. And somewhere along the line here, I had written down resident feedback. And am I right, Jenny, that you get very good feedback from this community?
Positive feedback. Yes, very much positive. Occasionally somebody will want to donate a box of books and we just can't take them. And then we might get a little disgruntled comments on why we're not taking their precious books. And everybody's library is precious to them, but we just can't handle everything. I'd just like to review, and I keep writing about this in the Chanticleer and in Woodland Life, how you check a book out. It's amazing. It's very simple. We're not able to do it electronically, obviously. So there is a notebook. It has spaces for the author, the title, your name, the date you took it out. Maybe author's not in there. Is author in there, Larry? It is. And your apartment number. Please fill that out. And when you read, oh, and there should be a little piece of scrap paper, and each page is numbered. And on that little piece of scrap paper, put the number of the page. I think we're either on page 7 or 8 now for this year. And put the number of the page. Take it home, put it in the book, like a bookmark. When you bring the book back, all you have to do is turn to page 5, if that's where you signed it out. Be sure, cross off your name and that line with your name. And I beg you, please print clearly, because when we go through, it's sometimes really hard to read what people have written. Now, if you forgot what page you're on, the easiest way for me to find my book, I look down the row of the apartments, and it's so much easier than trying to read that whole line. I know people take out books and don't sign them out. That's going to be an ongoing problem, but it really helps us to keep track of what we have and to know what people are reading if you sign out the books. Again, I would like to stress that everybody, every reader, and all the committee members for sure know how to use our Alexandra database. There are directions in the library in a folder on how to do it from home. And you can do it from your computer at home. I do it all the time. You can look up a book under the database. You can look it up by title or by author. And don't get upset if it says 0. If the book comes up, we have it. Somehow in the database, all the numbers didn't get in when we first started doing it. But if the book comes up, it's there. It might be out, or it may be lost, because we do have a lot of books that disappear. Luckily, we get a lot of books given to us, so our shelves are not bare by any means. But we really appreciate it if you do these things. You learn the Alexandria. It's not hard. And if you can't figure it out from the written directions, some of our experts on the committee will spend time. I believe last year before COVID, we had a workshop, and we might be able to do that again if we ever are free to do such. And remember how to donate books, remember how to sign books out, remember how to cross it off when you return it. I just think I need to go back and thank Faye and Pat for what they did in the very beginning. Looking through the old minutes and notes, what a job they had. Looking through some of their minutes, we had the same problems they had. Things are not changing all that much. It's always, I guess it's always the same problem of keeping track of the books. And remember, we don't just have books there. We have newspapers, and I would like to say a word about newspapers. And newspapers, like books, are donated, and they're donated by the residents. And if you would like to donate your newspaper, we really wish you would. I think it's the Kingston Freeman. Right now, nobody's donating it. And I've had a couple of requests for the Freeman, and we don't have any money. I need to stress that. I don't think I mentioned that. We have no budget. We have no money. So everything we have in the library is donated. So if you have a newspaper subscription, you read your newspaper pretty thoroughly, and you throw it in the garbage the next day, bring it down to the library. And Lynn Clark does a pretty good job, I would say a magnificent job, of keeping track of the newspapers there. Sometimes we get behind. Sometimes we don't get the yesterday's New York Times or yesterday's Poughkeepsie Journal because maybe the person wasn't up to bringing it down. So it wouldn't hurt if we had more than 2 of those particular papers. Same way with the magazines. They're donated as well. Everything's donated. And our committee members donate things like pencils and all kinds of things. So I am hoping that this was helpful, and I'd love to see you in the library.
Well, I can't thank you enough. We learned a lot. And I think the word that I think we're going to have to leave is donate. We thank you, all of you, for the time that you donate to make that library truly, I think, one of the gems of Woodland Pond. Now, before I leave, Dave said he sometimes ends these meetings with a joke. I will not do that to you, I promise, because I can never remember the punchline. However, a friend of mine told me the other day something that I thought might resonate with all of you. She said someone told her that they didn't mind old age. It was just the side effects they weren't too pleased with. Bada boom, bada bam, we're out of here. Ginny. I don't know how to do it, Ginny, do you? Where is it?